Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're back here talking about one of the hottest teams, if not the hottest team in football, the Washington Commanders. Before we get any further into this video, I just got a comment. I apologize, forgot who commented this, but it was from a Bengals fan in the DC area, and he said something that I didn't even think of. He was like, I think Washington's going to be the Cincinnati Bengals of last year, or of this year. I think he's got it. I think he's onto something here. So, Washington is currently 7-5 here. They're currently the third team in the wild card, and you have a game on the road against a struggling New York Giant team. Go on a bye, and then you come back home and you play the same struggling Giants team, right? Well, there's a couple of things. All right, we'll talk about the run game. We'll talk about all the new, information coming out on Washington so far this week. But Chase Young was a limited participant in practice earlier today, and I want to just kind of remind, I don't have to remind Commander fans on this, but I want to just kind of remind NFL fans on just how good Chase Young has been. So unfortunately, he tore his ACL a little over halfway through the season last year, but in his rookie year, Defensive Player of the Year, made a Pro Bowl. He had 7.5 sacks. He was rated 4th among defensive ends in the entire National Football League. He had an 87.1 PFF grade. Now, I know PFF grade is not the end-all be-all on evaluating players, evaluating talent, but 42 pressures. The stats speak for themselves, but the eye test, right? Chase Young's a superstar stud, former second pick in the NFL draft, entering his third year here. If Chase Young is fully healthy, which he seems fully healthy, he was dealing with a flu the last couple of weeks, he is a huge addition to this defense that is already ranked top 10 in the league. Before we go any further into this video though, guys, if you enjoy it, hit the like button, hit that sub button. I'm posting Commanders videos every single day right now because Commander fans, you guys are absolutely amazing. You are blessing every single video I post. So let's try and get this video to 250 likes. Show some love down below. Give me your take on Washington so far this season. But I'm licking my chops at the fact of playing the New York Giants for 2 straight games. I saw that Detroit game. I've been watching the Giants recently as of late because the start of their season really surprised me. I know that they're building something nice. I know that they have some nice pieces, but there's a lot of gaping holes on their team. Specifically, they allow 3.15 yards per rush before contact, which is the 3rd worst in the National Football League. I know Antonio Gibson, we don't know quite yet. We'll know on Friday if he's ready to go, but Brian Robinson Jr. in just 8 games has 467 yards. He's averaging over 60 yards per game. He is an absolute dog, and the stats itself don't even really demonstrate just how good, just how promising he is as a football player. So the way I see it, man, if you have, and by the way, real quick, Chase Young, most likely, if he plays, he will be going up against a rookie. He will be going up against right tackle Evan Neal, who has had a struggling rookie season for the New York Giants. Now, I know that defensive end, or the defensive line, I should say, is absolutely loaded. It's absolutely stacked. But defensively speaking, it does not end just there. Cam Curl is an absolute stud. In fact, PFF rates him as the best safety in the league. One of my subscribers, one of you commenters, I'll name his name's Jim. I don't want to give out his full name, but he kind of gave me a little nod saying, look into this guy because he's an absolute stud. Is he the most slept on safety in the entire league? Probably. Heart and soul of their defense. He's a phenomenal tackler. Came out of the University of Arkansas in just his 3rd season. He missed the first 3 games where Washington, they won the first game, but they lost the next 4. You could tell definitely, the defense wasn't quite what it is now. Carson Wentz was the starting quarterback as well, but 7th round pick. PFF has him as rated number 1 in the entire league. I mean, this defense, top to bottom, is completely loaded. Unfortunately, Cole Holmcomb is injured, but outside of that, man, they're getting healthy. The addition of Chase Young, I just can't stress it enough, is absolutely huge. You're also getting Wes Schweitzer back from concussion, your guard. He's missed the last 9 football games, but the way I see it with this Giants game is this. If you can just get some points up on the board immediately, like ideally the first possession, the first drive, first time you have the football, you're going to put New York in a very difficult position. We know how good Saquon Barkley is, but you don't want to get the Giants comfortable. I know this goes without saying, but I genuinely think if Washington gets that ball, you go out there, you score, even if it's 3 points, get a stop, go out, score a touchdown. If you get a touchdown and a field goal in your first 2 possessions and you hold New York to 0 points, it puts them in such a pickle. I can't stress this enough, and if you're a Giants fan watching this video, I'm so sorry, but I am so unsold on the Giants in general. I remember watching that Lions game I watched that game live. I remember it so vividly, and the score does not demonstrate just how bad the New York Giants looked. I know they're getting some players back. They're getting like 7 players back from injury, but it's just not enough for me. This is a rivalry game. Washington is red hot, and as Julian Love said in his presser this week, Taylor Heinicke is just a straight-up winner. He's just a straight-up winner. It's not always pretty, and it hasn't always been pretty, and that, to me, is kind of the, it's one of those X factors. It's one of those difference makers. They're gaining confidence, as he said during this past win against Atlanta. The offensive line is back. They were healthy. They've been healthy. They weren't healthy to start the season. So this offensive line, they had a season high in rush yards, like around 170 yards rushing against Atlanta. I know Atlanta isn't like the craziest defense in the league, but they're just building that confidence. And they have so many threats. There are so many threats receiving-wise outside of Scary Terry, outside of Curtis Samuel. Logan Thomas is back. Jahan Dotson is back. These are playmakers. And we've seen it in the last several weeks on this win streak here. Big plays. Big time plays. Taylor is making the throws he needs to make. Yes, you can nitpick it. There are some throws, there are some turnovers, there are some possessions where it's like, that's not the smartest thing, but they're still getting these wins. There aren't videos on the stat sheet in the win-loss column. They're getting the wins. And this team is rallying behind Heinicke, and they look great on the defensive end, and defensively they're going to keep you in every single football game. And if Heinicke can just keep on improving from a week-to-week basis and just limit those turnovers, limit those mistakes, let the offensive line do its thing, let the run game do its thing. Taylor also does a phenomenal job at just eluding pressure, eluding sacks. We used the word resilient in my last video, and that is the perfect word to describe Washington so far this season. They are so resilient. They were 1-4 to start the season. 1-4. Now Chase Young is back. Your offensive line is, it is so exciting. It is so exciting to watch. So I have, I'll make another Commander video before that game against the Giants, but I am licking my chops at this. I know Commander fans, you guys are probably licking your chops as well. This is a big time game. If you can get it to 8-5, overtake New York in the wild card and in the division, that is exactly what you want to do headed into your bye week. So hit that like button, hit that sub button, but most importantly, guys, go ahead, drop your opinions on this team. Thank you for all the comments, all the likes, all the support, all the subscriptions. I'm going to be covering this team very actively for the duration of the season, so I'll see you guys next time.